We are not at war, but we are no longer at peace, and we must be clear about this if we want to meet the challenges we are now facing.
See, and it's unclear, and he didn't specify. We have to be clear on the not at war, but not at peace situation, and we need to take actions. I'm not sure what actions he's talking about, but the gist is, and by the way, in concert with Ursula von der Leyen's comments here, they are reinforcing and doubling down on their comment that they want to have a big rebuild program within the European Union. And by 2029, they want to be pressing towards, an $800 billion advance. They want to have all these military capabilities, et cetera. Where do you see this going, and what reaction do you expect it to have on the Russian side?
Well, first of all, the charge that the Russians are sort of provoking the Europeans and taking all these actions that are designed to cause trouble for the West are really, for the most part, unproven. There was talk for a while that the Russians were responsible for forcing Ursula von der Leyen's plane to stay in the air over Bulgaria because they were jamming the navigation system. And then fortunately, she barely got down on the ground safely. It's now been shown that this is simply not true. It was a ludicrous charge. The Russians weren't jamming the navigation system on von der Leyen's plane. And then with regard to this argument that the Russians overflew Estonian territory, the Russians deny it, and it appears that if anything, they overflew a rock that is in the Baltic Sea. The idea that this was some sort of purposeful major provocation doesn't measure up at all. Then there was talk that the Russians were flying drones over airports in Copenhagen and Oslo. That didn't prove to be true either. And then there's the charge that the Russians launched all those drones into Poland. And the Russians do not deny that in all likelihood, some Russian drones wandered into Poland. These were not armed drones, but nevertheless, probably Russian drones. And what was the Russian response? Let's have an investigation to see exactly what happened so that it doesn't happen again. What was NATO's response? We don't want to have an investigation.